Hi, I'm Tim. I've been a part of YCC for about 3 years. More recently I've been helping out with the youth team and on Sunday morning in the services. Today I'm going to try and take you through the lessons that I've taken from Joseph's story, of which I found three: humility, faith and faithfulness. Now those last two might seem quite similar, but there are a few differences and I'll explain how later on. The first lesson is humility. Now at the beginning of the story, Joseph is a mere shepherd. So it doesn't pay very well. He has no great wealth, no possessions of great value. And yet he allows his father's favouritism and the gifts that he receives to give his brothers cause for jealousy. Jealousy which is furthered by the dreams that he has of the barren corn and the barren sun, moon and stars. Now, if you compare this character of Joseph, this young and naive character who takes the gift that he's given and he uses it for personal gain, compare this to the Joseph that we find at the end, where he is the vizier of Egypt. He has many possessions, yet he remains humble. He does not even seek vengeance of his brothers when he is reunited with them. What we can take from this lesson is that despite the gifts that we have and despite the praise we receive, we must remain faithful and honest to God and humble in his presence. For whatever material wealth we have, it means nothing to him unless our heart is where it should be. Now many characters in the Bible have faithful jobs, have humble jobs such as that of the shepherd or the carpenter, showing that we needn't have great wealth to have God's love in us. Now the second lesson is that of faith and maintaining faith. Now throughout his story, Joseph faces great wrongdoing and severe hardship, yet he is able to maintain his faith and his trust in God throughout the entire time, and he does so through prayer and through the knowledge that God is with him. Now many of us have suffered and endured quite a great pain through this lockdown and this pandemic, having lost loved ones, and we may find it difficult to maintain our faith and feel strong in it. And yet we must remember that throughout times of hardship especially, God is always with us and he will always see us through. I find that it helps to change your perception of events. For example, instead of viewing hardships as what they seem to be, view them as times for personal growth when you have the determination to endure. When you see your plans fall through, view them instead not as doors closing, but focus on the doors that open and the opportunities that unexpectedly arise from this. The third lesson is that of faithfulness, which, as I said, is quite similar to faith. However, it's maintaining faith throughout your entire lifetime. At the beginning of the story, Joseph is merely 17 years old. Now, he's young and he's naive. However, over the next years of his life, his path becomes winding and he faces severe hardship, as I mentioned. Yet each hardship is important, each turn in the road is vital, for they all lead ultimately to the end of the story, where the dreams he has at the beginning are fulfilled, where Joseph is a changed man. He has a family of his own, he is the vizier of Egypt. God's plan takes his entire lifetime to come to fruition. And when it does, he uses his gift to save the nations of Egypt and Israel and many others around the world from famine. Now, it can be easy to see others experience miracles immediately and to see them so strong in their faith with God and become dismayed at the position we find ourselves in. Yet we must remember that the whole of our life is part of God's plan. Rather than waiting for him to work through us, we should instead use the time for personal growth so that our character is ready for when he does move through us. At the start of the story, Joseph's character is not ready, and the hardships he endures takes this character to a place where it can be ready and it can utilise this gift. God's plan for us may not occur how or when we expect it to, but we must maintain faith throughout, and remember that each turn is important and his plan will come to fruition. Adam Dye reminded me of a quote, I believe it was Eugene Peterson, the man behind the Message. He says that we must commit ourselves to a long obedience in the same direction, and I believe that this summarises this lesson perfectly. So I ask that each of you today goes home and thinks, are you living with humility under God? Do you maintain your faith throughout? How can you do so? And are you committing yourself to a lifetime of faithfulness to him? I would like to pray. Father, I hope that you can ensure everybody at YCC is able to maintain their faithfulness throughout this tough time that we have faced. I hope that they can each ensure that throughout hardship or throughout their trials, they are committing themselves to a lifetime of faithfulness to you, trusting in the knowledge that you are with them and moving through them throughout as part of your plan. And God, I hope that you can teach them to remain humble and to ensure that they do not allow what material wealth they have to overcome the wealth of your love in their heart. Amen.